Transforming life. Life is a series of experiences, ups and downs, joys and challenges. We often seek change from external factors such as jobs, relationships, or living conditions, but few realize that true transformation begins from within. Transforming life is a deep journey into the hidden power of the mind and one's inner dialogue. This book does not merely offer ways to improve life, it delves into the nature of thought, the way you talk to yourself. Through your inner words, your mental state and personal energy will fundamentally transform your entire life. Inner dialogue is the root of all thoughts and actions. It shapes how you perceive yourself, the world around you, and even your future. Have you ever paused to ask yourself, what is the quiet voice in my mind telling me every day? Perhaps it's a voice of encouragement that helps you move forward, or maybe it's a subtle critic that undermines your confidence. Author Andy Lai delivers a profound message. Only when you become aware of the power of inner language can you truly transform your life. With clear thinking and sharp reasoning, this book is not just an exploration, but a call to action. Action that begins with change at its core. Each chapter of Transforming Life is structured as a step-by-step journey, from identifying your inner voice to mastering thoughts, controlling emotions, and finally, building the life you've always wanted. Together, we will explore how language influences energy, uncover how negative thoughts form, and learn how to transform them. This is not just a theoretical book, but a mirror reflecting yourself. Andy Lai believes that when you truly understand the voice in your mind and learn to turn it into an ally, every aspect of your life will improve in a positive direction. Are you ready for a journey of self-discovery? Let this book guide you on that path. Transforming your life is not a destination, but a continuous process, one step at a time, starting from within. Chapter 1: Inner Dialogue, Energy, and Life. In every moment of life, whether we realize it or not, an ongoing conversation is taking place within our minds. These are the subtle whispers, the unspoken voices that shape how we feel and act. Inner dialogue is an inseparable part of being human. It exists like a silent current, guiding the way we perceive ourselves, others, and the world around us. The thoughts we tell ourselves are not just fleeting notions that leave no trace. They carry energy, directly impacting our psyche, emotions, and even our life force. A positive inner dialogue can empower us, helping us face challenges with strength, while negative thoughts can drain our energy, pushing us into a state of discouragement or anxiety. Over time, we become entangled in cycles of repetitive thinking, and unfortunately, we often remain unaware of this pattern. Inner dialogue not only affects us personally, but also creates invisible vibrations that influence our entire environment. There's an astonishing truth that many people have yet to realize. Thoughts and words can impact everything around us, from relationships and work to the goals we wish to achieve. When you believe you are not good enough or undeserving, that thought doesn't just limit your own perception. It spreads, creating a spiral of negative energy that affects your entire living environment. On the contrary, when we learn to transform our inner dialogue into positivity, that energy amplifies, attracting good things and shaping a more meaningful life. Inner dialogue is like an invisible companion on the journey of life. You can choose to view it as a trusted friend, always ready to encourage and uplift, or let it become a silent enemy, continually fueling the flames of fear and insecurity. The difference lies in whether you recognize its power or not. The transformation of inner dialogue marks the first turning point on the path to mastering life. By starting with awareness of how we talk to ourselves, we can gradually change the energy from within. When you begin to hear the voice of positivity, the world around you will start to change accordingly. And this is just the beginning. In the following chapters, we will delve deeper into how to identify and control negative thoughts, explore the vibrations of language, and most importantly, learn how to transform ourselves to create a better life. Chapter 2: Transformation begins with inner dialogue. Every step in the journey of life begins with a fleeting thought, a quiet whisper in the mind that we often overlook. Inner dialogue not only shapes our immediate emotions, but also guides our behavior, attitudes, and how we interact with the world. True transformation must start from these silent self-conversations. Life cannot be transformed if we haven't learned how to master our inner dialogue. There is a truth that many are unaware of. The human mind is in constant motion, and this movement is a continuous stream of thoughts. These thoughts can be positive, negative, or neutral, but what's important is that they continuously impact our mental state. They are invisible imprints that silently determine our outlook on life, our psychology, and how we perceive ourselves. It is the daily self-talk that ultimately leads us to success or failure. Imagine each negative thought as a pebble dropped into the water, creating ripples that spread wider and wider. One thought can trigger a chain of other thoughts, causing our minds to become lost in loops of negativity from which there seems no escape. Once these loops are formed, they become habitual mental patterns, and at that point our lives are affected, constrained by the direction in which our unconscious mind is steering us. The wonderful news is that we have the power to control and change this stream of thought. Transformation begins with awareness, with the ability to clearly recognize the thoughts occurring in our minds. When we pause, listen, and ask ourselves, "What is my mind telling me?" that is the moment of awakening. That is when we begin to choose whether to let our inner voice continue to control our lives or if we will take charge and change it. Transformation is not something distant or sudden. It begins with seemingly small things, a positive self-affirmation, a hopeful statement. Yet from there, we can reshape our entire mental framework. Inner dialogue, though simple, carries tremendous power. It is the key to unlocking new doors and opening paths that we once thought we were incapable of walking. True transformation does not come from changing external circumstances, but from changing how we respond to those circumstances. The mind can be an invisible prison, trapping us within self-imposed limits, or it can be the wings that lift us to new heights. Every change begins from within, from how we talk to ourselves, and when we begin to transform our inner dialogue, our entire life starts to change accordingly. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into these inner voices, the whispers that continuously influence how we live every day. Understanding them is the first step to truly mastering life. Chapter 3. The Quiet Voice. The quiet voice within each person's mind is a hidden force, deeply influencing every moment of life. It is present in every decision, every emotion, and every time we face challenges or opportunities. Yet strangely, most of us rarely take the time to truly listen to that voice. This quiet voice isn't always loud or clear. It often appears as fleeting thoughts or subtle emotions that we aren't even fully aware of. Imagine your day, from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, being guided by an invisible companion. This companion constantly whispers thoughts about your self-worth, your abilities, and the world around you. Sometimes it offers encouragement, but often it is full of harsh judgments and criticisms, making you feel insecure, doubtful, or even lost. Have you ever wondered if that voice is helping you grow or quietly holding you back? The truth is, this quiet voice can become a powerful ally if we learn how to control it. But first, you must recognize that it exists and that it has a tremendous impact on how you live and work. This voice is the internal monologue that has been shaped over many years by your experiences, beliefs, and mental habits. It can help you overcome the biggest challenges or push you into deep pits of self-doubt and fear. The issue isn't whether the voice exists, but how you choose to listen and respond to it. When faced with major life decisions, like changing jobs, pursuing a dream, or dealing with failure, it is this quiet voice that will determine whether you move forward or retreat. If it carries positivity, you'll feel energized and courageous enough to face challenges. But if it is full of constant criticism, you'll always be held back by hesitation, fear of failure, and self-imposed limitations. The good news is that we can change our relationship with this quiet voice. It is not something fixed or unchangeable. Just as you choose how to converse with a friend, you can also learn to adjust your inner dialogue. Start by listening more carefully to what your mind is whispering. Are those words encouraging you to move forward, or are they negative messages that make you feel inadequate? Everyone has the potential to transform this quiet voice into a source of strength. But before doing so, we need to listen carefully. When you begin to become aware of your inner dialogue, you'll realize that changing how you think can change your entire life. This is not just a psychological transformation, but also a shift in energy and perception. And once adjusted, this quiet voice can become an endless source of inspiration. In this journey, we will continue to explore the powerful impact of language on the mind and life. The vibrations of language not only affect your emotions, but also determine how you approach every challenge and every opportunity. We will dive deeper into this power in the next chapter. Chapter 4. The vibration of language. Language is not merely a tool for communication. It creates vibrations that ripple through every thought, every emotion, and can profoundly impact our lives in ways we might never expect. Each word, whether spoken aloud or whispered within the mind, carries a vibrational frequency. This frequency can uplift and encourage, or it can pull us down into the depths of negativity and fear. When you think about something, especially when you talk to yourself, that language doesn't just shape your immediate emotions. It creates waves that affect your overall life energy. Language has the power to transform a mental state, making you feel either stronger or weaker. A simple affirmation like, "I can do this," can inject you with positive energy and courage. Conversely, thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "I will fail," emit negative vibrations, draining your energy and pushing you into a state of self-doubt. What's interesting here is that you don't even need to speak out loud to feel this effect. Every silent thought, every whispered word within your mind holds an invisible power. These inner conversations can change the way you interact with the world around you. Language not only impacts your inner self, but also influences how you attract or repel opportunities, relationships, and even life experiences. Many people don't realize that how they think and talk to themselves is not merely a reflection of their psychology, but also a part of the process of creating reality. When you focus on something intently, that language begins to create an invisible force, as though you are sending out signals to the universe. You can attract positive things by nurturing optimistic thoughts, believing in yourself and your future. On the other hand, negative thoughts can also draw unwanted experiences into your life. Remember, language is the most powerful tool humans possess. It not only affects your surroundings, but also changes how you perceive yourself. Language can build self-esteem, foster confidence, or destroy them if left unchecked. The subtlety of language lies in its ability to transform quietly, yet it leads to clear outcomes in life. Words that we often consider harmless or trivial actually have the power to shape our entire experience of the world. Therefore, when you become aware of the vibrations of language, you'll see that even the smallest words have the potential to bring about significant change. This is when you realize that language is not just a part of thought, but something that shapes and opens the future. The more clearly you recognize this, the more you can steer your life positively and with purpose. In the next stage of our journey, we will explore the signs of when language begins to turn negative, when the invisible inner dialogue starts to invade and weaken the spirit. Chapter 5. Early Warnings of Negative Self-Talk. Taking over. There are moments in life when we don't realize we've fallen into the trap of negative thinking. These thoughts don't arrive abruptly. They often begin quietly, creeping in through the smallest inner dialogues. A seemingly harmless thought like, "I didn't do well enough," gradually morphs into, "I never do anything right." And eventually, these silent criticisms develop into a full-blown negative mindset that erodes your self-belief. This process doesn't happen overnight, but through small, repetitive thoughts that slowly take root in your consciousness. What's most alarming about negative self-talk is that it often comes without clear warning signs. It starts with thoughts that seem insignificant, yet these small seeds have the hidden power to chip away at your spirit. Once we stop being conscious of them, these thoughts become automatic, transforming into a familiar inner voice that is no longer easy to recognize. You might not even realize that you are limiting yourself through what seem like innocent, yet persistently negative, words that echo in your mind day after day. The infiltration of negative self-talk is subtle, but it has a significant impact on how you respond to challenges, opportunities, and even relationships. When phrases like, "I can't," or "I'm not good enough," repeatedly resound in your mind, they form an invisible barrier. Every time you want to attempt something new, these negative thoughts arise, weakening your resolve and causing you to doubt your capabilities. Over time, they create a mental framework that holds you back, preventing you from embracing challenges and fully exploring your potential. The first signs of negative self-talk can be small and easy to overlook. It might be a faint feeling that you're not deserving, or a quiet comparison to others that leaves you feeling inadequate. Or perhaps it's the times you've turned down opportunities out of fear of failure. All of these are indicators that negative self-talk is beginning to take control. What's more concerning is that these thoughts don't just affect your mood, they also drain your energy, leaving you feeling fatigued and devoid of motivation. Recognizing when negative self-talk is starting to take over is an incredibly important step. It opens the door for you to intervene and transform these thoughts before they become an endless loop, weakening your abilities. As mentioned in the previous chapter, the power of language lies in its vibrational frequency. Negative thoughts generate low vibrations, pulling you into a negative state, while positive language can elevate your spirit and infuse you with renewed vitality. The voice inside your mind, when adjusted and mastered, can become your strongest ally. In the next chapter, we will continue to explore the cycle of negative thoughts, gaining a deeper understanding of how they form and, most importantly, how you can break free from them. By transforming your life from within, starting with these seemingly small but incredibly powerful thoughts, you can unlock your true potential and create lasting change. Chapter 6: The Loops of Thought. When negative thoughts begin to creep into the mind, they don't simply appear once and then disappear. In reality, they have the potential to form thought loops, a cycle of thinking that repeats itself over and over, becoming stronger and more ingrained over time. Whenever you feel insecure or anxious about a situation, the same thoughts return, like a dark chorus echoing in your head. Gradually, you may not even recognize that you're stuck in this spiral, as these thoughts have become a familiar pattern of your mindset. What makes these thought loops so dangerous? They don't just affect how you feel about a particular issue in the moment, they shape how you face new challenges. A negative thought, if repeated enough, solidifies into a fixed belief, embedding itself deeply into your subconscious. At this point, you stop simply thinking, "I can't do this," and start believing, "I'll never be able to do anything." This generalization is what makes negative thought loops an invisible enemy, blocking growth and advancement in every area of your life. Negative thought loops develop much like other habits. Whenever you encounter a difficult situation, your mind automatically reverts to the same old thoughts, repeating what is familiar. If you've ever failed and told yourself, "I'm not good enough," then the next time, even before facing failure, your mind will trigger that loop, discouraging you before you even begin. This creates a vicious cycle, carrying over from one challenge to the next. But like all habits, these thought loops can be broken. The first step is recognizing that you are stuck in such a cycle. Negative thoughts are no longer just fleeting reactions, they've become a mental pattern. When you become aware of the loop's existence, you start to see how it influences your behavior and decisions. This is when you can begin searching for new ways of thinking, opening the door for breakthroughs. Changing negative thought loops isn't easy because they've taken root in your subconscious over many years. However, understanding that these thoughts don't represent absolute truth but are merely outdated patterns gives you the power to adjust them. Instead of being controlled by limiting beliefs, you can gradually build positive, empowering thoughts, breaking the cycle one step at a time. Once you realize that the mind can be trained, you'll notice that everything around you starts to shift. Every action, every reaction, and even your sense of self is shaped by what you choose to think. The key here isn't to eliminate negative thoughts entirely, that's impossible, but to learn how to replace them, creating new loops where confidence and optimism become the new habits of your mind. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into transforming these negative thoughts, exploring how to restructure your thinking to turn negativity into opportunities for growth. This won't just bring immediate change, but will also lay a solid foundation for the long-term journey of personal transformation. Chapter 7: Transforming Negative Thoughts. Every transformation begins with awareness. The moment you realize that you are trapped in cycles of negative thinking, you open the first door to breaking free from them. But awareness alone is not enough. To truly transform negative thoughts, you need to change how your mind approaches and responds to daily challenges. This requires persistence and a proactive effort to reshape what seem like deeply ingrained patterns of thought. Negative thoughts don't just disappear on their own, but they can be replaced. When you face a difficult situation, instead of automatically falling into a negative spiral, pause and ask yourself, can I look at this from a different perspective? Simply asking this question is already a significant step in transforming your thinking. Changing perspectives doesn't mean forcing yourself to be positive all the time. Rather, it opens the possibility of seeing the situation from multiple angles, allowing you to create more balanced and thoughtful responses. Transforming negative thoughts is also about changing your relationship with yourself. When thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I will definitely fail, arise, these are not just judgments about the current situation, but also how you evaluate and limit yourself. Imagine saying these things to a close friend. How would they react? Surely, they wouldn't allow you to keep diminishing yourself. So why do you permit yourself to do it to yourself? Transformation begins when you turn negative self-talk into constructive affirmations. This doesn't mean denying reality or ignoring difficulties, but learning how to affirm your worth and your ability to overcome challenges. For example, instead of thinking, I will never succeed, begin with, I may not succeed right now, but I'm getting closer with each step. A small shift in how you phrase things can have a powerful effect, helping you feel more in control and uplifting your mindset. Each time you transform a negative thought, you're not just changing a fleeting moment, you are gradually rewiring your entire thought process. Positivity, if nurtured regularly, will become the foundation of how you respond to life. Negative thoughts may return, but now you know how to recognize them and have the tools to restructure them into constructive thoughts. Every time you do this, you move closer to mastering your own mind. The most crucial aspect of transforming negative thoughts is to not let them dominate your overall thinking. A single negative thought doesn't mean you are failing. It's simply a challenge to overcome. This shift in perspective gives you a greater sense of freedom, more confidence, and starts to create new positive thought cycles that will support your progress rather than hold you back. Transforming your thoughts is the foundation for changing how you perceive yourself and life. Once you have gained mastery over your mind, the next step is to shift your entire perception, which will enable you to truly take control of your life. Small changes in how you think will lead to larger shifts in behavior, and soon, the results will become evident in your life in ways you may have never imagined. Chapter 8: Awakening Consciousness. We often live in the cycle of thoughts and habits, rarely pausing to ask why we behave the way we do. But once negative thoughts have been transformed, the next crucial step is awakening your consciousness. This is the step that takes you out of the automatic operations of the mind and allows you to recognize what you are truly thinking and why you are acting in certain ways. When you begin to awaken, you not only break free from the limits of old thought patterns, but also actively create the life you desire. Consciousness is the key to all lasting change. It acts as a light that shines on all the hidden corners of the mind, where thoughts and emotions play out without your awareness. Being truly conscious isn't just about knowing what you think, it's about understanding why you think that way. The invisible beliefs and mental patterns formed from past experiences and the words of others, all of these shape how you view yourself and the world. Awakening your consciousness is not just the process of becoming aware of what was previously hidden, but it also marks a profound transformation in how you live and experience life. When you awaken, you no longer allow yourself to be carried away by unconscious thoughts, but you begin to take control of what you choose to think. You can decide how to respond rather than react out of habit. This brings a sense of freedom that you may have never experienced before. This awakening process doesn't happen instantly. It unfolds gradually as you start listening to yourself more carefully, noticing what's happening in your mind, and choosing to face it differently. As you awaken, everything in your life starts to shift. Situations that once left you feeling powerless become easier to manage. The old thoughts that used to hold you back will no longer have the same power over you. Consciousness also deepens your understanding of the relationship between yourself and the world around you. With clear awareness, you begin to see that many of life's difficulties are not caused by external circumstances, but by how you think about them. What you once saw as obstacles are, in reality, opportunities for growth when viewed from a different perspective. Awakening consciousness reveals the truth behind every event, helping you see beyond the surface and into the deeper nature of your experiences. When you reach this level of awakening, every action and thought carries a clear purpose. You no longer feel lost in doubt or anxiety because you understand that you are on a path of your own choosing. This is when you begin to truly take control of your life, no longer governed by unconscious forces. Instead of allowing your thoughts to dictate your actions, you become the one in charge of shaping your thoughts. This awakening is an essential step in bridging the gap between the mind and the external world. It helps you build a solid foundation for self-affirmation, empowering you to not only believe in your own worth, but also to protect that belief in the face of life's challenges. Through this awakening, you gain clarity and strength, enabling you to live with intention and to face life's challenges with the power of a mind that you control, rather than one that controls you. Chapter 9. Self-Affirmation. As you awaken your consciousness, you begin to see new opportunities to affirm yourself. Self-affirmation is not just about declaring your belief in yourself. It is a powerful commitment to your values and capabilities. It is the proactive choice of how you will face every situation in life, no longer allowing negative thoughts or doubts to take control. Self-affirmation is the next step, where you establish inner rules, building a solid foundation for confidence and self-esteem. Affirming yourself requires a deep understanding of who you are. It starts with accepting that you have the right to determine your own worth, unaffected by external opinions. When you confidently affirm yourself, you no longer seek validation from others. Instead, you become the one in charge of your path, fully aware that only you truly know your value and potential. However, the process of self-affirmation is not always easy. Often, voices of doubt from the past resurface, shaking your confidence. These may be old, recurring thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "I don't deserve this." These thoughts can creep in, making you lose confidence even after you've achieved notable successes. It is in these moments that self-affirmation becomes especially important. This is when you must stand firm, refusing to let old limitations overshadow your progress. The power of self-affirmation lies not only in mastering your mind, but also in the impact it creates in real life. When you truly believe in and express your value, others will sense it too. The way you position yourself before the world reflects outwardly, and as a result, you will begin to attract opportunities and relationships that align with the value you've set for yourself. The challenges you once feared will no longer shake you because you've learned how to control your response and reassert your place in the world. Self-affirmation is also a clear declaration that you don't need to be perfect to be valuable. Rather than striving to achieve an unattainable ideal, you accept your true self with all your strengths and imperfections. Confidence does not come from hiding your flaws, but from having the courage to face them and still standing firm in your affirmation of self-worth. Once you have built a solid foundation from within, external challenges become opportunities to reaffirm your value once more. You no longer fear failure because you understand that your worth is not tied to the outcome of any event. This is when true confidence is formed, no longer swayed by the changing circumstances of life. Self-affirmation is a crucial action for breaking the chains of doubt and anxiety. With this foundation in place, you will realize that the limitations you once thought were insurmountable are now mere illusions, barriers created by the mind. The door to mental freedom has opened, allowing you to continue your journey with a completely renewed perspective. Chapter 10. Breaking the Chains. Once you have affirmed your self-worth, you will begin to feel a sense of freedom spreading throughout your mind. This is the freedom from old constraints, anxieties, and invisible limitations that you've long placed on yourself. But to truly move forward, the next step is breaking the mental chains, those barriers that still hold you back, even though you've overcome many challenges. These chains are not physical limitations. They are old beliefs and deep-seated ideas embedded in your subconscious. They are the echoes of past voices, the times you heard others say, "You can't," or "You're not good enough." Even though you now have the strength to affirm yourself, these chains still cling to you, pulling you back whenever new opportunities or challenges arise. To fully liberate yourself, you must confront these beliefs head-on and begin to dismantle them. Breaking the chains is an act of courage, facing what once frightened you. It requires you to stop and ask yourself, what is truly holding me back? It could be the fear of failure, the need for approval from others, or simply the discomfort of stepping outside your comfort zone. But the truth is, these chains don't exist unless you allow them to. They are self-imposed limits, and by changing the way you view them, you can free yourself from their control. Each time you confront a fear or doubt, it becomes an opportunity to break another link in the invisible chain. Instead of avoiding the fear, look directly at it and ask, is this real, or is it just a limiting belief? Once you start recognizing that most of what holds you back is either a product of your imagination or the result of past negative experiences, the power of these chains will gradually weaken. Breaking these chains doesn't mean denying negative emotions or experiences, but rather learning to see them from a new perspective. You can't change the past, but you can change how you perceive it. Instead of viewing past failures as proof of inadequacy, you can reinterpret them as valuable lessons, experiences that have made you stronger. Every time you do this, another mental chain falls away. This liberation brings not only mental freedom, but also confidence and determination to face bigger challenges. What you once saw as limits are now just illusions. Your courage is not about avoiding difficulties, but facing them without feeling bound by them. The more chains you break, the more balance you will feel in your mind. Without the constraints of limiting beliefs, you will begin to experience a mental clarity where you can embrace whatever life brings with a sense of ease and control. Your mind becomes lighter, clearer, and you will truly feel that you are in control of your life. This journey of breaking the chains is an essential step in reclaiming your freedom and creating a life that reflects your true potential. Chapter 11. Mental Balance. After breaking the invisible chains that once imprisoned your mind, you will experience a profound shift. It's a feeling of freedom, no longer constrained by limiting beliefs. However, to maintain that freedom, one crucial element is needed: mental balance. This isn't just a state of calmness, but the ability to stay grounded and stable in the face of any challenge, ensuring that no adversity can shake you. Mental balance does not mean avoiding strong emotions or life's inevitable ups and downs. It's the ability to hold steady, regardless of circumstances. When you achieve balance, you will find that you can face life's highs and lows without being swept away by emotions. Your mind becomes calmer, clearer, and you can make decisions that you might have previously feared or doubted. One of the most important aspects of mental balance is self-control. You no longer let emotions dictate your every thought and action. Instead, you learn to regulate them, maintaining an even keel. Emotions like anxiety, fear, or excessive excitement no longer overwhelm your rational mind. Instead, you can feel these emotions without letting them dictate your behavior. This not only makes you more resilient, but also instills a deep sense of confidence because you know you can handle whatever life throws at you. Mental balance also fosters a positive relationship with yourself. You stop blaming yourself for mistakes and instead see them as stepping stones for learning. This is vital because an imbalanced mind often falls into loops of self-criticism and negativity, which can erode your self-belief. But with balance, you can assess situations more objectively and find ways to keep growing without being held back by self-judgment. To maintain this balance, it's important to regularly reconnect with yourself, finding an inner anchor when life becomes overwhelming. This could mean taking quiet moments throughout the day where you sit, listen to yourself, and tap into a sense of inner peace. By doing this, you protect your mind from the chaos of the outside world and preserve the stability needed to keep moving forward. Balance brings not only a sense of lightness and peace, but also serves as the foundation for building a better relationship with yourself. When you learn to control your mind, you treat yourself more kindly, no longer being overly harsh or setting unrealistic expectations. Instead, you recognize that every step is part of your growth journey, and each mistake is simply an opportunity to learn and evolve. From this foundation, self-kindness becomes not just a luxury, but a necessity. It's the core that helps you maintain balance, continuing to explore and grow in a positive and sustainable way. Mental balance is not only a tool for personal resilience, but also the key to nurturing yourself as you progress along your path. Chapter 12. Learning to be kind to yourself. Once you have achieved mental balance, another important step is learning to be kind to yourself. This kindness goes beyond simply taking care of your physical body or satisfying daily needs. On a deeper level, it involves how you face yourself when you fail, when you're not perfect, and when personal limitations cause you to stumble. We often find it easy to show compassion and forgiveness to others, yet we are overly harsh on ourselves. Every time we make a mistake, our minds quickly resort to self-criticism, harsh judgments, and repeated thoughts like, "Why was I so stupid?" or "I can never do anything right." These thoughts not only harm us, but also distance us from our sense of self-worth and self-confidence. Being kind to yourself starts with accepting that no one is perfect. Everyone has weaknesses and makes mistakes, but that doesn't diminish your value. Kindness towards yourself begins with acknowledging that those mistakes are part of the process of learning and growth. When you make an error, instead of falling into the spiral of self-criticism, ask yourself, what does this mean in the larger context of my life? What can I learn from this? This is how you transform a mistake into an opportunity. When you practice self-kindness, you also start to establish healthy boundaries in your life. You no longer push yourself too hard or demand the impossible from yourself. Instead, you listen to your body, mind, and emotions, knowing when to rest, when to push forward, and when to pause. This kindness also involves taking time for yourself, ensuring that external pressures don't completely consume your personal space. Self-kindness isn't just about taking care of your physical self or creating a comfortable environment. It's about accepting and loving yourself even when you don't meet every goal you set. It's when you recognize that you deserve compassion and understanding, even if the world around you doesn't provide it. As you start to build a positive relationship with yourself, your mind becomes lighter and you find it easier to face challenges. You no longer fear mistakes because you know you won't judge yourself harshly for them. Instead of pressuring yourself, you begin to encourage yourself, moving forward step by step with the understanding that every action you take is worthy of respect, regardless of the outcome. This self-kindness also brings a greater strength. It helps you create more harmonious relationships with those around you. When you know how to treat yourself well, you become more capable of showing empathy and respect to others. The peace of mind that comes from being kind to yourself will radiate outward, fostering genuine and meaningful connections in your life. In the end, self-kindness isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for maintaining mental balance and continuing to grow in a positive and sustainable way. It allows you to meet life's challenges with grace, understanding, and a heart that is open to both yourself and others. Chapter 13. Small changes, big impact. As you begin to treat yourself with more kindness, you will realize that profound changes in life don't come from dramatic transformations or sudden turning points. In reality, they are built from small changes, the simple decisions you make each day. It is these seemingly insignificant acts that hold the power to create long-lasting, significant impacts over time. Every positive thought, every kind action towards yourself is a small step forward. While they may not seem to have immediate effects, when practiced consistently, they gradually accumulate into sustainable change. Think of these small changes as individual bricks that you lay day by day, week by week. At first, a single brick may not make much of a difference, but as you continue with persistence, you'll eventually find that you've built a solid wall, a strong foundation for a new life. Small changes are not insignificant. They simply require patience and commitment. For example, pausing each morning to affirm something positive to yourself, or taking a few minutes every day to listen to your body and mind, can make a huge difference in how you view yourself and the world around you. Each small change, repeated daily, creates a new habit, a more positive mindset, and a more balanced way of living. The power of small changes extends beyond just you. It also ripples outward, influencing those around you. As you become calmer and more confident, your interactions with others become lighter and more positive. You're not just changing yourself, but you're also contributing to the shift in the environment around you. These internal to external shifts will guide you towards a more meaningful life, filled with better relationships and new opportunities. What's special about small changes is that they don't require you to immediately step out of your comfort zone or face massive changes all at once. You don't need to overhaul everything at the same time. Instead, you can focus on small steps, simple actions you can take every day. This consistency is what will ultimately bring about the comprehensive change you desire. That's why small changes lead to big impacts. When you choose to move forward step by step, you won't feel overwhelmed or frightened by the change. Instead, it will feel comfortable and natural, as though you are progressing without having to push yourself too hard. These changes, though seemingly small, will gradually reshape the way you think, act, and experience life. Over time, they will lead to unexpected results, helping you break through old limits and discover new possibilities. What begins with kindness towards yourself will set off a chain of positive reactions. Step by step, you will create a life that you can feel proud of and content with. It's from these small changes that you will uncover the inner strength within you, realizing that the most profound transformations are, in fact, built on the simplest actions, yet have the most lasting and meaningful impact. Chapter 14. The Big Rewards of Small Changes. As you begin to incorporate small changes into your life, a quiet miracle will start to unfold. The rewards don't come from bold, daring actions, but from your persistence in maintaining those simple, seemingly insignificant habits. Over time, these changes accumulate, building strength and transforming both your mind and how you interact with the world. The greatest reward from small changes is the sense of confidence and control over your own life. When you realize that you can manage and adjust each thought and action, you'll no longer feel overwhelmed by worries or pressure as before. This sense of control not only lightens your mental load, but also provides a strong foundation to face any challenge. You begin to understand your capabilities more clearly, and each step forward feels meaningful, reinforcing your deep belief in yourself. These small changes also bring about profound mental rewards. Feelings of lightness, peace, and hope become more consistent in your mind. Day by day, you feel less burdened by negative thoughts or unrealistic expectations. Instead, you find joy in gradual progress, understanding that there's no need to rush or force yourself to accomplish everything immediately. Every small step forward is a success, and you begin to enjoy the journey itself rather than just focusing on the destination. These shifts also deeply affect how you connect with others. When you live in a state of balance and kindness toward yourself, that peace radiates outward. Your relationships become more positive, less tense, and filled with empathy. You no longer seek validation from others or compare yourself to them. Instead, you share the confidence and joy you've built within yourself. This transformation places you in a space where the greatest rewards come not only from within, but also from the genuine relationships and heartfelt connections you nurture. Another significant reward comes from the realization that real change happens from within. You come to understand that no matter how the external circumstances of your life shift, the power to shape your life is always in your hands. These small changes have taught you patience, self-love, and how to avoid getting swept up in the chaos of the outside world. You see that the highs and lows of life are just waves on the surface, while you have now become the steady captain who knows how to sail the ship of your life with calm and resilience. The spiritual rewards you gain from these changes can't be measured in material terms, but they profoundly alter how you experience each day. A deep sense of peace, self-confidence, and self-respect grow stronger than ever. You no longer chase distant goals or feel pressured to please others. Instead, you treasure each step of your path, appreciating the small changes you've consistently pursued. The transformation you've undergone, which began with very small steps, has now become a journey to be proud of. Every moment of life carries new meaning because you have created it for yourself. And from this place, you realize that there is no greater reward than learning to master your own life, step by step, through each thought and action you've bravely taken.